That's not picking up. Okay, it's not. Not as good as it was. Like the first time I had it. Anyways, hello, probably to my future self when I figure out what the hell I did today. It's more of like a recording instead of like a stream. But I have 35 minutes until I have to go work. Not this work, like drive around people in an Uber car, listen to their stories, say, yeah, I understand, and then oh, eat dinner and sketch and feel fulfilled. So, guess what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat, and I'm also gonna kind of weird sketching, just like practicing lines, straight lines, different speeds, angles, and in doing this line, practice the ellipses in there, but also all I'm gonna do is I think of something of me. It hurts. Training arc. Could be playing music. I wonder if we're gonna get like super distracted. All right. As cylinder or whatever. Tinier. That looks like a bottle that's sitting there. My little pill bottles that. Yeah. And then I'm gonna do a bunch of them from the ground up, I need to make a straight top down. I'm not just doing one way of doing things. The idea is to float, get just put down the ones. Doing that, I keep like scribbling around. It's like, it needs to be the right size, but that's the whole practicing. It's a tiny cylinder. Better, a little rounder. Larger. More circular. Usually you don't get like a perfect circle at the bottom. Usually like the cylinder is different, like you only really do between like here and here. I have a cylinder. These and whatever. God, it's so hot. If you can see like this, maybe fog up the lens. That kind of sucks. I hear music, but you don't. Maybe. Possibly. Well, this is the whole part of, you know, doing shit. It's to practice in all aspects. Oh. I guess I'll just have to look at it afterwards if it's actually true. It's easier this time. It's like, God, it's so hot. The other, wow, I'm so flat. The other idea, generally when you're drawing, you have like some sort of arc, dot to dot that you want to get. Not like defined really. You see this dot in your mind. Sorry. See that dot in your mind. And I want to draw from this point to this point. Well, really slowly. You see like the little squiggle like here, and it goes up here. When you draw faster, you're more likely to get a straighter line. But the idea is to know at what speed you can draw a straight line at, straight-ish line, to get close to slowing down that speed. See, that was not as bad. As a little tighter and then a little further apart here, but it was straighter. It's also the idea that initially when you draw like this, choose a point, you go from there. You want to get a straight line. I can generally get straight lines anyways, and I want to be able to slow down my sketching so I'm not like have to go super fast, because then it's not really conducive to like sketch fast. Like if you're sketching beyond your hands are going faster than your brain, it's not a good. I wonder. God, I think it's the oatmeal that's doing that. Wow, that sucked. They didn't have a point. Oh, that sucked. I suck at going down. Matt, that's the problem. It's my. Need to work on that. Okay. Need to go down. Going up is easy. Going down is hard. Going on that angle. Because usually when we draw, like when someone first tries to draw a straight line, they anchor the bow, and they draw on a curve. So, in practicing, we learn to use our shoulders so that we can account that curve at all times. So we're syncing our shoulder movements with our elbow movements, straight lines. To learn forward, to learn backwards, because you get into your body and you're like, draw the straight line. So it's difficult. Now I know that I need to practice. Right. Circle. Need to just do it once. Okay. Even. Perfect. The right one, the last. Wait. Do it the other way. But okay. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. On the right side, then on the left side, and then both sides. I think the like length, same size, like same shape but bigger. It needs to be different shape, different size every single perspective, which I suck at. I don't intend to be a gremlin today, but it just happens. Yeah, it's the oats. That's it. Anywho, I wonder. This is the tone of voice, not the tone of voice. Like this is the level of my voice that I use when I feel like I'm not alone. I feel like talking to myself out in public, kind of keep more like hushed. I guess, but like speaking, like I'm not speaking at my full level. This would be speaking at my full level. That's what I do in my. No, I'm alone. Live in a basement, right? More or less, as by the. So, really alone. I wonder if I do this and I just get good at design. No one watches. Just me talking to myself in, I guess, a more professional format. Professional. More actual form. Actualized form. Do to me. No. Is the Is the prospect of instant fame worse than the prospect of no fame? Is the expectation of being listened to worse than having everyone listen to everything you say? No? Already gone crazy once, at least. Is this how that happens? Is that now I'm getting off topic. Now my brain is like, I've done enough design today. Let's move on to something else. No. Keep drawing your goddamn circles. Why we need practice. It was fine then you went off on a tangent and you got worse. No, I'm not at a point where I can consistently do it. That's the reason. I kind of suck at these, the beginning too, and then once I get up to the thinner ones, I know what I'm gonna do the next one. Squish them out there. I'm gonna do the beginning. I'm gonna do the. That was good. So now I need to make this a little wider. I'm gonna work down. Work inwards. I'm gonna squish these. That looks way better. Even right now. Is if I layer this, because it's almost as if, I know it's not a circle, but ooh. This is a circle. This will be the base, I guess. The way this looks is like it's, you know, off-centered. It's not on top of each other. Not like it's like this, you know, where there we go. Where it's off, kind of like centered like this. But the way when you overlap these two lines, this is a learning point for myself. This is nice. Is it seems more directly over top the plate. It seems more like this, and that's how things are drawn, I guess, in a two-dimensional space. If I were to draw these circles individually, they'd overlap naturally. But it's my job. But they don't, but they do, which is kind of cool. I guess I gotta make this. Cool. That's interesting. How about this one? I'll make everything. Okay. And I think at this point, it doesn't really make sense to overlap. Like here, and here kind of makes sense, but then after that. Okay. I still have space on the page. Look, wait, I think it's missing a V. I think it was. When they had paper, they didn't actually have paper back in the day. They didn't have paper back in the day. They had vellum, which was still very expensive because it was like, it's essentially cowhide, but as your paper stand-in. Didn't know how to paper, but it was very expensive because it was manufactured. But it was really the only way for like musicians to put things down on paper, for inventors to put ideas down on paper, or to think about anything in a visual format without, like, I guess, stick and gravel. It was more permanent. And so they filled, there's like these manuscript pages that are in history museums. Yes. Again, I live in a basement. But what was I saying? These booklets that they had, and like their main sketches like this, and then it just like filled the page. They're like a major sketch right here, and then like tell that he was getting close. He was like sketching things together, and he's like, oh well, I gotta stop here. I can't, overlap. And obviously, like, his kind of sketching practice was probably towards like writing down the ideas instead of having, spare paper to practice on. It's kind of cool. God, I talked about like 3 things right now, and all of them just like melded into each other. God, straight on a normal basis. And then how do I communicate that succinctly? It's like I can't do that. Whatever. I'll figure it out. Kind of like this sketching thing. I'll figure out how to speak more. Eventually. Maybe. Who knows? Alright. So instead of doing more cylinders, because it's a little bit crowded to do that, next is squares. And we are using that straight line tactic. Okay, if things that, but you just want to keep this line and this line. You want parallel. You want everything to be parallel, except for perspective. This is where I'm like not really knowledgeable. Like perspective, you want the lines to converge eventually. So it's off of there. So these 2 lines converge, these 2 lines converge. So then this line converges well. And this is just straight up and down. And then this line converges as well. Technically that's in perspective of technically this cube almost like we're facing more of this wall. Oh, I do this square. Oh, I do. More like instead of looking at like if this were a cube, this looking at it in the perspective, we're looking at this wall just a little bit more wide. So that would be because in paper space, the distance between here and here that do the same distance. It's significantly farther, but it's not smaller. So this face is smaller than this face. How do I not make it singular? I'm trying to make a cube in perspective. Maybe I like that. Anyways, cubes. I guess I'll do them all in perspective. Why not? Need to practice at it. This would be there. Oh, that is not a straight line. It was a very curved line. That's nearly it. Somewhat. It's better than I asked. Sure. But nice music. Calming almost. This is not competing with the theme song that's running in my head right now. Not my theme song. The theme. Constantly thinking about like 5 design, 3 mantras at least, and then a theme song somewhere running in my head. Oh geez, that's not on. There it is. Like a way to do like. Yes. Okay. Bye. Basement things. way to it's like I guess I'll just shade it and then figure, because there's a way to shade this. I think it's like this is darker. Well, say the light's coming in from here, so this is darker. The darkest. That. I don't know. I've lost my ability to shit. But like, if this were light and this were dark and this were on the top, then this dark line, then dark as well. And it'd be like lighter, lightest over here. I think it's just gotta make another cube. The closer these are together, usually I'm gonna make these. Draw out the length box, but makes it seem like it's further away. Even in fact, that's what it is. I think. Never paid attention in perspective class ever. I just, oh, it looks like this, so then I'll do this, and I did it based off of the talent, not based off of location, like I should have. Even though I was basically an engineer that didn't know a long time. Basically, when you want something, so say this is your focal perspective, you're looking at it this way, and you're kind of viewing this at an angle, like this, you're kind of looking at this face, but this is at an angle. You make the lines more convergent on this side. Yeah, they're convergent, that's what it means. I'm gonna be looking. And you do the distance same if you're going for it. What that does is it makes it seem like it's further away, giving this idea that it's at a specific angle. That's how you get angles in perspective. I just gotta match up this angle and that. Oh, my arch nemesis. I think that works. Okay, so say we were looking at, well, it would be this side that's light. So it would, here, and do it lighter here, and this, and then this. This is super light. Still like grade. This is the right. Yeah, kind of. Try to like do a gradient dark to light and then light nothing. And it kind of looks like it. Like that. That looks decent in the camera. Doesn't look decent in my eyes. You know, getting better at that. So, oh, now that I figured out perspective, because this is supposed to be like sketch practice, not figure shit out day. I'm gonna like leave in 5 minutes. not supposed to be the time where I like figure everything out. It's like the time where it's like, oh, you know, we train for like a month, and then we figure shit out, and then something else. You know, it's interesting. Is I think I live with my parents. Yes, most college, like ex-college kids do, unless you have a job directly out of college, which out of a pandemic is not really the easiest thing in the world, especially if I want to move to Seattle. Like the area, I want to be there. So living here until I get a job, living in a basement, um, or when there were people in the house, even though they weren't really near me enough to listen in on mind about the immediate judgment of others, usually, or at least the judgment of others, people that I know. I was speaking this tone of, but now that I know that they're gone, still sometimes reach into that kind of like it feels like I'm more speaking in my throat, but now it feels like I'm just kind of laughing out loud, kind of talking the way that I usually do. Found my family, I do it. That's weird. That's weird to me. Because usually I'm just like, oh, I don't give a shit, you know, whatever, I'll just do whatever the hell I want. Not really whatever the hell I want, but like, I'll think the way that I want to. Because why shouldn't I be able to? No. Right? Anyways. Interesting. So, I guess I learned perspective and partial shading. I have my toolbox here, but I also have like markers directly handy, and then I have supplies handy, and then I have more pens, and one pencil that's not even really a pencil, it's a mechanical pencil. So maybe I'll be able to I'll rip a sheet out of here maybe, or I'll find some printer paper and I'll do like big rectangles, those, and then see if I got my perspectives right, and that's how I can test it. But for this last like 5 minutes of freedom before I go sit in a car for 5 hours and get complained at, yay, customer service. I'm just gonna do like a bunch of rectangles and not really care about perspective, even though I really should. I'm just trying to make sure that I can sketch faster. Even though I said that I don't want to sketch faster because I want to make sure I'm accurate, but I want to make sure that I can just do like a one, sketch. Even dicking around, like it's, you can kind of make it. Well, I'll make an intentional rectangle. Not everything is a square. Intentional rectangle as in, not intend to make a square and then make a rectangle. And so this is like one or two different perspectives. You get the side, and then you side's a little taller, longer, and this one's shorter, and then you also other one where fresh side's kind of short and long, while this side's taller. Did you say that in design drawing that when your pencil like a little close to it, you scratch in a little, and you scratch in some more, and then you this like a couple times over, and it adds character, makes it seem like really thinking about it. And they tell us specifically when you're sketching, not for like a rendering, you're not trying to intentionally make like a clear shape. Well, you're not trying to make like single line clear shapes that you want to sketch in that manner, because character, it tells a story, and it's like sketch the way that I learn how to. Not necessarily learn how I sketch, but I'm gonna sketch the way that I want to. And if there's emotion in there, great. There isn't. Look at the shape. Not my emotions. I'm not trying to like tell how my pet cat died and I'm super sad. Like, you're not supposed to read into that. You're supposed to look at what I'm drawing and say, oh my god, That's a cool design. That's a good idea. Not, oh, I'm down today. Pretty sure that's not the I'm talking about, but that's what it's like. I don't like feeling things. I'm a man. But there's this perspective, and there's the trippy perspective, which is from down below. We start off with the top, and then we go down. That's what, like, oh. Usually when I see things in my mind. You guys ever see things like this perspective? Generally from here, and you need to also be able to see perspectives from here. I'm making sure, which is really weird. And then you also need to see things from here. I see things from here a lot when I sketch because I don't really know how to drop them. So I usually see things from, like, front on, back on, side, and then I see mostly everything else from here. Oh god, I still got water on my paper. Don't see anything from here. Very rarely do I see things upside down. And I very rarely see things from, here. Like halfway between this angular and this head on. Right here. That's a weird perspective. Even seeing things like this is weird for me. Even though I'm a visual thinker. Like seeing things like this that's on the ground but like angular and pointing. Really hard to see things other than the way that first come into my mind. So like that's the kind of perspective that I need to work on, and that's pretty much solved by like going like this and being like, all right, that's what it looks like, looking at it, replicating it without directly looking at this, just looking at the other old drawing, and replicating it in my head, just looking, remembering what I sketched last, same product, same thing, doing that, and then building up the ability to sketch something without directly looking at it, being able to flip it in my, like, that sometimes is just sitting back and being, oh yeah, that's cool. It's like there's nothing else that I feel like it's a better way to do it other than just like, what does a phone look like upside? What does a lighter look like? Well, there's that new lighter that is made to be upside down. They told us in our classes that as designers, we're going to make some pretty interesting things. But like half our income is going to go to really cool things. Oh, that's so cool. Most of the time, like, I... There's this company that made headphones that are, instead of having, wristwatch and then headphone, headphones in your case, and then you can listen to shit. People taking a shit, but listen to things. This company had them charge on your wrist, and it's not like super obtrusive or anything. Like it's not like it's that. It's a little pop up. I mean, on your wrist, but it doesn't get in the way. You don't hit it on things constantly. And I saw it, and it was on Kickstarter, and I was like, I need this right now, because I just, to sketch, to look at, to take apart, to look at how it functions, to see, oh my god, this is possible. To hold it in my hands and be like, holy shit, something like this exists. Like, it's inspiring, and it's really cool to hold and look at and experience. Because as designers, we're not just simply, pen and paper or on the computer or in our heads. It's like a communicative practice. You have to live in it oftentimes. So I need like 3 more cubes and then I'm gonna go. Even though I should be working right now. It's Memorial Day. No, I'm not gonna take Memorial. Sunday was a better day. Ooh, those look good in an upside down perspective. Flipping the page around. I'm gonna do longer lines. Yeah, it's also the fact that I was practicing like I do this pinwheel thing. I might even do it on like once I fill this, like I'm just like drawing over. I think I'll do it right now. Actually, I like doing. I just really there's just bashed my put my emotion into it. I like the fact that there's more. It looks like you're drawing and you're not caring about the way things look. Drawing for the of drawing, or I like that. I don't like the fact that they try to mix emotion into it, which is no, no, that's not the reason. I like this. I'm gonna do another one. Do it from. Make it more of a top-down perspective. Make it, and what I mean by top-down, it's not a cube when flipped around is still a cube, but like try to make it. The reason why you start drawing this way instead of doing the other way is when you want, like sometimes you're making products that are like taller than humans or as tall as humans, so you want to make it seem like, you know, there's this kind of perspective instead of, you know, this kind of perspective. So usually you can do that better by drawing in this format. I'm still bad at that. Drawing down. I like drawing, usually when you draw like I'm gonna do a shorthand fast cube. This usually when you draw a cube like this, so that there's dotted line, which is like cool. I like doing like a harsher line on like at least here, be like a less harsh line, and then like line, harsh line, not harsh line, harsh line. Then you do like fluid sketch style background. It shows the depth, but it shows it in lighter form. So it doesn't really, it's not like this. This seems mathematical. This seems like a sketch. Difference. How I do shit. Do shit weird. But anyways, what I mean by pinwheel is I'll sketch like this. And I'll go up. Try to, in this, like, I'm not very good at it. So I'll go faster, like that straight line. Difficult, like moving my entire body. And I go a different. This is not. Now it's difficult. Warmed up. I'm trying to go in between all of the lines that are and go slower. Very difficult, and I bet the bottom of my hand is getting up slower. Oh, I lost my plate. Okay, this way. I don't think I can do another one. Hey, look at that! Wow, all that ink on my finger. Love it. That's what I do. Fun. It's about an hour. Um, Probably trim this down. Probably the next time that I sketch it, I could probably trim this down to like 30 minutes. Straight lines, ellipses. Maybe I'll do more like with the ellipses to make it functional, I guess, like shading wise. Cubes gets me drawing in different directions. I'm up in that. This. No, I'll do this last. Hard. Cubes, perspective, opposite cubes, shading with cubes, pinwheel to finish it off, and then get into sketching something like this tube of wonder, or notepads, but in like a dynamic way, where like it looks like it's being flicked. See, like sketching things like that, you get the base of the notepad, and you could probably do this, but I need 2 hands to do that, so I could probably, you know, do this on the ground and have one here, have half here, but and then have the other half here. But it's not like I can just see the pages flicking through all the time. It's the fact that I have a lot of reference, but I still need to fill in this gap right here. That's a really nice sketching exercise, because you get most of it, but you still have to imagine parts of it. You don't have to imagine the entire thing, and you're not sitting and just drawing one thing. So, anyways, bye. Now I'm gonna go make money and be happy with my money, I think.